I'm Trek with 2Ks. All right. What's going on? I think I did something wrong. Hola, buenos noches, buenos tardes, GnGs. Yeah, I did something wrong. All right, I gotta go in here and try to fix this. Give me a second, because I'm realizing what I think I did wrong. All right. Let's take that out and see if that makes the difference. And hopefully this will do what it is supposed to do. All right. We'll see. Anywho, it's a Monday. We are after the 4th of July. And yeah, life is happening. Um, damn. And again, of course, I forgot. Okay, it updated. Hold on 1 second. Like, I swear my dog tags are so much just like a that's a me thing. Like, I really do at times just be forgetting that it's on, and then like having the um when I say it's a me thing, it's like they're always on. I have an unhealthy fear of if I ever got like robbed or something, um and I didn't have like, they took the wallet or some shit like that, like they would at least be respectful enough to leave the dog tag so I could be identified. Sounds weird as hell, but I came to that realization one day a couple of years ago. This is like probably before COVID, but nonetheless, I took them off. They're not going to cling and clang in the mic. And I got some things to go on about that scratched my brain within the Twitterverse. I really was trying to start this joint way earlier because I'm supposed to be doing homework stuff right now, and I'm like kind of behind on stuff. Um, if somebody could, are you seeing the thank you for watching um text over the image? Because I don't even. So again, Restream did an update where they took away the thing that you could do, where you could have the mic on but not have the camera on, and then I'm assuming somebody was using. Okay, that's what did it. Got it. Um, but yeah, that one. Anywho, let me stop messing around with the overlay stuff. Nonetheless, y'all see what's up. Um, yeah, I'm doing the whole going back to school thing, trying to get my first, full on BA thing. And yeah, this school thing is a hell of an adjustment, man. It's like online is not for the faint of heart, especially when you have like other things going on, and it's just like, how much do you really want to do this or achieve this thing? And in all actuality, this is more of a like a check the box kind of move versus a I'm gonna get this degree and then I'm gonna go off into this career field and blah blah blah. It's like, nah, I just need to check the box on this thing so that by the time I retire out on the gang, aka military side, like I have at least one other thing that makes me more relevant in the job market. Like all of this stuff is a whole like down the road plan out thing. Ironically enough, the other day I was talking to my homeboy. he a techie dude, got his own thing going on. And we were talking and he was like, yo, yeah, I noticed that. We were talking about just a number of people that we've known in the space over, the time and stuff. And he was like, yeah, man, like it's a lot of folks who was talking what they was talking during COVID or like prior COVID. And like now a lot of them got regular jobs. Like they went back into the getting the job thing. I said, you ain't lie, bro. I could tell you 100%. I was telling King before, like I doubled down. Like, here's my environment. This is what I got going on. And I got what's in front of me right here. I'm gonna double down on this until I can make this move properly as it relates to like this crypto stuff. But the bigger thing is like for what's going on with this administration right now as it relates to crypto, we don't know how much of what they say will actually be applicable after this administration leaves. So it's just like, what do you do right now, right? And if you do, at least in regards to like my area of workforce, a lot of folks is just like, all right, sit still. Let's see how the rest of this administration work out, or at least let's make it past this first year, because again, we ain't even make it to 7 months yet, and it's all hella topsy turvy. But yeah, nonetheless, man, like it's a it 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 is a that meme where Sheldon is like, it's sad but it's funny at the same time. Like when he said that, that's what I thought about. It was, oh, we all had our hopes and dreams, and oh, it's gonna work out this way, and then slowly but surely the um the way that adoption was playing out was not like how X amount of us thought it would be. And then the key part of it, I think that gets a lot of folks, is the way that the IRS part of it worked out, and the way that the US and pretty much any government, with the exception of a handful, and I'm going to actually get into one of those in a couple with this, have looked to integrate crypto within the legal and the financial structures. My thing right now, for everybody who's getting hyped about Bitcoin ETFs and Solana ETFs and all these other, crypto derivatives, and like the other thing that was announced in the latter part of last month, with the crypto or the Bitcoin being collateral in real estate stuff. It's like we was doing that more than 5 years or more than 10 years ago. But the difference was none of the financial policies and none of the regulatory space around it caught up to what was going on with the technology and what people were doing peer to peer. Like, this is not new. And then for the what's the word I'm looking for? The maturity, or like the not establishment, but for in my mind, the adoption thing to really mean stuff is I need the IRS, the SEC, FinCEN, who else? The Treasury Department, OFAC, and there's somebody else, the DOJ, to actually put stuff in clear writing and not in these like, oh, but we can still change our mind come like halfway through this administration or next administration, or like this stuff is only like sandbox temporary safe. You got 3 years. Like, no. I need like stuff that makes it lock in to where it will work practically within everyday life, right? And like whatever the areas of operation are, whether you be the rich person or the poor person or the middle class person or whatever. But that's not where we are right now. The stuff that we see happening, The IRS ain't shift on nothing yet. We still getting taxed out the wazoo. The financial stuff on what's going on is basically looking to screw over the little person, so where you're gonna end up being not pardoned out, but you can get in, but getting in now is a whole different way than how it was 5+ years ago. Like, the shit kills me now when you talk to people and it's like, oh, well, no, yeah, in order to get into crypto, you got to go to like Coinbase. Like, you have to go on, an exchange. And they just think things like Coinbase are the only like regular way to get into crypto. And it's just like, wow, like we have so friggin' gone far over there. Like is wild to me. But again, as I've been jokingly saying, but like with a definite real thing of a dose of reality to it, like I'm in this unk status. Like I've been around for a minute, so I see what the difference is and how the folks who come in now look at this space versus the folks from back in the day. Right? Like arguably, they're the we've been amplified. I said this last week. We've been amplified in a number of things for how this space is working out. But anywho, let me jump into the things that scratch my brain on Twitter. And first one, jumping into Bukele. Come on, do what you're gonna do. There we go. All right, so I see in this, and shout out to Stacey Herbert. I haven't spoken to her or Max in a good while. It's probably like before COVID. I think the last time I seen them, I was out in Detroit, Crypto Blood. Damn, that might have been, I think, the last time that I had spoke with them. But nonetheless, shout out to them. Hey, what's going on? Hope y'all are doing well. Seen this the other day. So Bukele of El Salvador ends up getting an order of NVIDIA B300 chips. Now, as we keep getting the pump of everything is about AI, everyone has to now jump into this whole AI race. But then the question is like, can you use the new chips? If you can't use the new chips, like we did some stuff, and when I say we, I mean the American administration. I don't mean we, the everyday average person. I mean the American administration did it where like, hey, if you're a company and you buy chips or you buy any tech stuff that has stuff that has America's tech in it, like you're in trouble. You can't do that unless we have like the say so of what you're doing with it. This is me surmising it, but like wild. And I'm curious to see how this is going to play out for what Bukele is looking to do down in El Salvador. As far as like, is he looking to make a minor play or is he looking to do something else in relation to the back end for AI data centers? And I'm also curious on the end of why did he end up going with the American company when, for at least what I understand right now, with the way that what is this thing called right now? With the way that development is going, Huawei just did the thing where they're offering free basically they're open sourcing like AI products for like commercial scale type businesses, which we'll see in another couple of months, in the next like 2 quarters, how that's going to play out. And DeepSeek is arguably already eating whose thing. And when I say this in terms of open source versus paid. It's a difference, right? On the paid side, who is it that Reggie talks about Chat GTP and somebody else that I can't remember right now. I would argue like, how much longer is the paid model really gonna work, if that makes sense? Like it sounds the way to go now, but like once the actual technology of LLMs is like really integrated to all, technical smart devices and stuff like that, like where does it make sense for the consumer to pay for a LLM product or service within their smart device, whether it be the phone, the watch, the earbud, whatever? Like, how far are we away from that? I don't know. But I guess this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out down the road for El Salvador, right? What was the other one? Oh, for the folks who are Brave users, this was a breakdown that Brave did for their AI assistant Leo, which I use it a fair amount because I'm also just a regular Brave user. Pretty much all my devices have Brave as the browser. Here and there, I jump around with like Google or Opera for stuff. When I'm at work, it's a Explorer Bing thing. But for the most part, I'm usually on Brave, and then I definitely be doing the questioning on a bunch of different subjects with Leo. One of the things I started doing over the last couple of months is like I'll ask each one of the systems a question, and then it's like just comparing and contrasting what response each one gives. So DeepSeek, Gemini, Leo. I haven't messed with Claude and Chat GTP, and literally just seeing like who gives either a more in-depth kind of answer, or who gives something that's like let's say creative, and go from there. And then of course like doing the follow-up questions, or if like one mentions something that the other one didn't mention, like cross-reference it to see if like you know um are they working off of the same source. So that's kind of what I've been doing now with it. But yeah, if anybody who's interested on that, if you follow on my timeline, like it's one of the things I've bookmarked, and or you could just go to Brave's account and see, and it really does get into breaking down how far they've come with stuff since like 23 and implements into the whole Leo into the browser. The one thing I will say that kind of annoys me with how Brave works right now is like that whole time thing of like, I swear it's probably like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there's some tweak update going on. And then like you have to hit the the update button, and then, like you'll see the color change from like green to red. And it's just like, I get it. It's a subtle like passive um behavioral indicator thing to like, hey, you're good in red, but I mean you're good in green, but you're bad in red. But yeah, that's the one kind of thing. Which part did I don't even know what I said I had noticed. But yeah. So what was the other thing? Shout outs to CJ the smart guy. That's my CPA guy right there. In full disclosure. So when I be saying stuff like, hey, this episode is brought to you by, that's usually when we in that tax season. Because if you're in this American jurisdiction, at the end of the day, the American tax people have long memories and always want they cut, and will definitely find ways to get you when you are the average Joe Schmo. So make sure to cross your T's and dot your I's, especially when it comes to this crypto stuff. Because again, I still haven't seen any actual changes that look like they're going to last in the IRS, and like where it makes sense for what they're trying to say is their cut of this crypto stuff. That's just my thought process on that one. But yeah, CJ had put this thing in about the big beautiful bill. It's so interesting to see how like you'll have the people argue, oh, the difference in the search engines. So pretty much all of the Western based search engines, so Gemini, I would even argue like basically Gemini, Leo, ChatGTP, and I forgot the other one right now. When you ask certain things that have to do with like world related events or things that are outside of the US, you get a very Western leaning interpretation or perspective on whatever that thing is, whatever that event or subject is. Um, what I found with DeepSeek is like there'll be a little bit of a Western perspective in there, but like when it comes to historical related things or like events, um, it does this thing where it'll pull like previous historical things and make reference to it. Usually still in a Western context, depending on what you're asking. So that's what I've noted in regards to the LLMs. And I also am curious on, is it a matter of like, are LLMs responses also geolocked for where you're asking the question from? And I actually have not, now that I think about it, this might be a thing to do, experimented with running the LLMs with the VPN on and then like changing the locations globally to see like, does that make a difference in how it responds? I don't know. It was literally just something I thought of right now, as far as like, how would I figure out if it was? But I have been wondering for a bit of time now if the responses are based upon where you're asking the questions. And I'm still also talking about like the free version of stuff. Granted, as I did mention a couple weeks ago, I am experimenting with Twitter's stuff as far as the Grok. So I did do the blue check pay thing. Um, I'm not gonna say I've noticed much of a difference for how it responds on stuff. What I also think is interesting though is how much Twitter now tries to get you to pay for promotion. So like you got 5,000 followers and it's like, well, you know, you can reach 300,000 more people if you paid for blah blah blah, versus the why don't you just show it to the 5,000 people that I already have. Like, I'm cool with that number, it's okay. Like Twitter is using the same model that Facebook and IG use when it came to like, hey, I know like you have this many of your followers, but if you want more of your followers to actually see your stuff, you should pay for this. That's the direction it has gone in, but that's a whole nother side tangent thing. Moving on. The AI race is happening, and I think the question boils down to how are you going to find your way in? Something's about to open and I'm gonna be annoyed. Yeah, so how are you gonna find your way in, and is it gonna be helpful, or is it gonna be worth it, or is it gonna have, is it a long-term thing or is it a short-term thing? Is it something that you can knock out within the next like 12 months to 18 months, maybe 24 months? Or is it something that's going to be like, oh, let me position now, and then like 24 months to 36, maybe to 55 months down the road, like, or 5 years down the road, okay, now I see the reward playing out. How patient will most people be for this? Because like, at least for the way that I'm understanding, yeah, capitalism is always selling. Understanding this stuff now is in relation to the big beautiful bike, depending on who you're listening to, it's like, hey, the administration has quote cut money in various public service, what some people might call social programs, but the tax incentives is like, well, we're gonna give, or it has the workings of where basically people who are already wealthy are going to get to be more wealthy. And then on top of it, the way that the tax incentive, not a tax incentive, these financial cuts work it sounds like, oh well, we'll lower the national debt and all of that, but then on the same or in the on another page, we're doing something that's gonna make it go up like another 2-3 trillion. So it's like smoke and mirrors. And then depending on who you're listening to and how you're cross-referencing the information, it's just like, well, wait, what's going on? What's the reality of this? Because literally I got into this the other day with one of my coworkers, where it's just like, so we're obviously not in the super wealthy. Granted, we make more than the average person or the average American nationally, but at the same time, we're not getting the same tax incentives as like the upper class folks who are not in the like the blue collar, I'm gonna say quote lower white collar labor force, right? We're not talking about the the manager or like the actual worker bee in the office. Like you're talking about the people who are like at the C level, the C-suite level folks, right? The folks who, what is it? I think above 120,000 or above 160,000. Like the folks up there are going to see the bigger part of the financial. But then the other hand, on the other hand of it, I arguably the crazy part of this whole thing is we're getting told move forward in this financial realms, everything is going to work out, don't worry, like the administration got this. But then it's just like, but this is not what I'm seeing in my everyday. This is not what I'm seeing when I go to the supermarket. And slowly but surely it's just like, things are costing more. And if I gotta spend more, I can't save more. But if I gotta spend more, but I can't spend on the miscellaneous things, then how is this really working out as a pro, especially for the average person who, is on the, I make 60K, but my take home is like 40 something. Like, I remember when I got into adulthood and like really understood the whole thing of net versus gross income. And it was just like, yo, are you serious? Like, how are we making fun of other people in other countries economic models, or it's just like, oh, so people don't pay this level of tax over there, oh, we pay this higher version level of tax. And I'm talking about the average day person, not corporation stuff, not multi-millionaire whatever people. Like that crossover into adulthood to be like, yo, this is crazy. Like, this is where we are. Yep, this is where we are. We have a system that says in order to like thrive and expand, and within this system, the American West thing, like you got to have debt, you got to do X amount of being flashy. But I'm running down a rabbit hole I don't need to run down right now. Back into this sort of stuff. So Charles Guillemette, he dropped this the other day, and it like, all right, it might not be relevant or have any real significance to the folks who are like after, let's say, 2018. But like, if you was a back in the day person, and again, the 2011 back in the day, if you was around then, you know that like when it came to the wallets and stuff, like, yeah, some of the companies try to help you with like Q&A stuff for their wallets, but like you wasn't getting the same type of tech help. And as the tweet shows here, like we're talking like before BIP 39 became the standard for how the transactions and stuff was moving. But I also find it crazy that somebody moved 80,000 BTCs. Like somebody was sitting for a minute and just like, all right, like I'm a move it. I really wish he would have added the wallet address in on this one. That's the other thing. I got another story too in here about like the whole crypto pocket watching. Somebody's always watching. Why? Because the way that this technology works is you can always see the provenance, the transaction history, the way that the crypto is compiled, as far as the accounting methods. For those who aren't aware, like the accounting methods for Ethereum is different than the accounting method for Bitcoin, which I don't think, or I'm gonna say I think, is different than how Solana works, or like how Doge works, or damn, Decred. It's it's an inherent part of the technology. You have analyzers, aka explorers, that once you at least know the address, you can go and just see how the crypto is moving from address to address or through wallet to wallet, right? And yeah, for somebody who's sitting around back in the day, hats off to you for remembering your C phrase and all of that, and like the old heads knowing about Electrum. It was a different, like, I be saying this all the time, and I know I be beating the drum on this whole thing about like economic sovereignty and understanding like that is taking financial accountability. Why? Because if you're saying that you want to be able to have this sovereignty, have this self-agency over your financial stuff, like that personal accountability is a part of it. That personal management of you being able to protect, hold, save, transfer, store, and it all is in that, like, that wheelhouse. And this person obviously, they did what they needed to do to make sure they was able to move this. Again, Bitcoin is over 10 years and it's a teenager. Like, yeah, there ain't too many of these folks roaming around is the other last thing I'm gonna say on this. Don't mind this one. This was a historical thing I was getting into. Another historical thing I was getting into. Yo, this, I don't know who came up with this game, but it's wild. It is a combination of soccer and boxing. I'm assuming this is someplace in Europe, or Eastern Europe more specifically. But yeah, that one caught my attention. I'm follow up that down the road, but this also caught my attention, and I don't know if it was just because I didn't really search it like that. I only seen one other platform mention this. I didn't see this on Woo Blockchain. um at the time I was looking this up. It might be here, it might be on there like after or whatever, but basically, Jack Dorsey, if y'all remember, founder of Twitter, has launched a new Bluetooth based messaging app that allows users to send Bitcoin without needing an internet connection, which I find interesting because all right, so like, how are you avoiding double spend? How are you dealing with man in the middle because it's Bluetooth? Like, there's just so many questions of like, did you is there some new level of of encryption that's being used within this? Is there some new, like, because this is like um um arguably, like, there has to be some level of sidechain stuff added into this, because it's like, well, I can send the crypto, but when does it clear on chain? And I didn't dig too much, but like I said, I only seen like one other posting with this. So I imagine, if not in this week or as we progress through this month, there'll be more about this. I am curious on what is going on. Huh. Okay. All right. Let me mention the can notify. Create rooms. Interesting. Like, I don't know. I guess it's gonna be interesting to see. Whew. Sorry. Um, I guess this is gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Bit chat. Um, I this arguably would be a very big step forward for Bluetooth and NFT technology on the end of, like, not only are you sending message, but you're sending value, and you're doing it over a medium that doesn't require live internet. I mean, I don't know, like, just trying. I understand the part of being able to send data, send signal, right? I think the part that gets me the most. Sure. All right, so there is a different encryption. All right, is that it's the clearing of the chain part that I'm curious on how that works, and then, like, how is the fees being processed? Like, that's another part. Like, uh, or is it that you have to have a wallet topped up, connected to it, and then, like, that's how you're sending? Because you're like, it's like how your Apple Pay or your Google Pay thing works, where, like, you have your thing topped up, or you have, like, your and would that be like whole bitcoins, or is that Satoshi's? Well, I mean, Satoshi's Bitcoin, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like, it just, yeah, I it makes for a number of questions to me for how it works practically. Again, I understand the Bluetooth side of it, but I'm more curious on the clearing on chain stuff. And then, is it one of those, like, oh well, you need to have, again, just like how what you call it was working. Um hey, what's going on, New Jersey in the house? I see you, Les Square. Um damn, what's the side chain thing? And I cannot remember the name of it right now. Where you had to already have, like, the Bitcoin set aside in order to be able to do those side chain transactions, those off chain things of where, like, oh, I'm buying the cup of coffee now and I have it clear. Like, is it something similar to that? But I guess we'll see. Like I said, over as the month progresses forward, we'll see, what else comes out about this. Um, which then brings the question of, this is more of a, like, a near peer thing versus the traditional way in how wallets work for you to be able to send internet, like, you cross bordering, like, you're cross bordering in the traditional sense of, as long as I have the address, like, I can send it to anywhere around the world. Well, technically, it's not around the world, but, like, I hope y'all get what I'm saying, as far as the the person may be located in another region or spot on the earth, but as far as, like, the quote internet is concerned and how wallets work, it isn't a, oh well, I'm sending money to that wallet that's over in Malaysia while I'm in, like, Colombia. Like, the physical person might be there, the keychain of the wallet might be there, but that's not how it works on the online side. But anywho, I'm curious to see how this goes, how this works going forward. Other thing that caught my attention was this story right here about the U.S. government moves 200K in ETH to Coinbase. So I followed up on this one for like one or two things. Basically, it boiled down to there was a case that happened in 2022, and this is basically that person's crypto. This is that person's ETH, and they moving it over into Coinbase, which I think if that's them about to do a liquidation or what, I don't know. Yo, you know what I'm wondering if anybody else is thinking of this, but if so, all right, we know that our varying alphabet folks do, black budget things, right? And traditionally, fiat has been the medium of choice to transfer value across borders and stuff. But like, arguably, at what point, or is it already happening, but no one's calling it out? Because again, you can always see the transactions using the analyzers, the wallet explorers, right? And as we move forward into this whole thing of labeling and identifying wallet addresses to real world entities or persons, like, I wonder if anybody's actually looking through, and granted, you could have like a hardware wallet or a soft wallet that has like 100, 200 different wallet addresses, right? But I still do wonder, is anybody actually looking into wallet addresses trying to figure out, like, is this like a black op wallet? Just curious, just my brain wondering things. I only thought this throw this out there because when you, a matter of fact, let me see, where is it at? Is this it? No, that's not it. Nonetheless, because the initial showed the wallet address and showed the amount and stuff, so it's like 200K worth at the time. Currently, it's actually more than 200K thousand worth of ETH. And they show you the wallet address and stuff like that. And a couple of people were talking about it. A lot of people were like, "Oh, well, that's not really that much money when it comes to the U.S. government." And it's like, well, yeah, it's not, but at the same time, it's a fair amount of change, my friends. It's a fair amount of ETH, right? I don't know what that person did to get it taken from them that they took it from. That, but like, that's that. Wait, who did this again? U.S. government. I forgot what department it was, but anywho, this really caught my attention. U.S. government drops appeal in Tornado Cash, which basically boils down to they. What was it? What was it? Hold on, let me. Where are you at? Because I asked this question earlier. Are you gonna give it to me? Nope. It literally earlier. Okay, this is what I was looking for. So it gave it to me earlier of like means. So basically, the U.S. government decision to drop this appeal in the Tornado Cash lawsuit announced basically Treasury Department, OFAC, and all them, which had accused the decentralized mixer of laundering over 7 billion, including 460 million linked to North Korea. Again, and this is my point to the jump out girls, as far as this thing of like how the Western AIs will do this thing of where like they'll definitely throw certain things in there that are, in my opinion, a Western take. Like they add in certain talking points, whether they be good or bad talking points, but it's like from this like, they're talking to a Western audience. Like, no one in the West talks about North Korea in a good or positive context. If you hear anything about North Korea, it has to either do with hacking, something missile related, or something on some like, oh, we got to watch out for the North Koreans because the Lazarus Group or Kim Jong Un or whatever. Point being is that's an example of what I'm talking about. It didn't necessarily have to have that in there as one of the like, oh, here's why it's bad. It's like, no, they got charged with money laundering, or they got charged with the conspiracy of money launderings. Anywho, so what is it? As ruled invalid by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decision in November 2024. Yeah, so reverse the sanctions, which held. So basically, it's like, hey, you can't have the sanctions against this company. This is what the Fifth Court said. The shift follows the 2024 court ruling that OFAC overstepped its authority. What is it? Tornadoes cashed immutable smart contracts supported a Coinbase-backed lawsuit and aligned with a broader policy reevaluation amid. So OFAC stepped its authority. It doesn't give any actual, as far as a response, it doesn't give a clear, like, this is going to be a pro for DeFi mixers or like the DeFi space in general. But it is a notable thing that the Treasury Department stepped back from it. So either it means, hey, we realize that if we went forward, we would have then set precedent of it being not in our favor, or they step back because the administration has now changed, quote, its stance on the crypto space as a whole, right? Or they're stepping back and then regrouping how they're going to attack it. Like, I think it's one of those three things as far as the, like, why did they step back? What was the other thing? Oh, and this is the other part to know. Like, the founders are still dealing with the legal mumbo jumbo bullshit. So the dude over in the Dutch court, he got sentenced. The guy over here, Roman Storm, he could still get like double digit numbers and for the money laundering charges. So, like, as far as the question around OFAC and its authority to step in this particular space, and like the whole thing of like, hey, all we did was just write the code and then we put it out there, and then the users did what they did. But the government, our government, Western governments, is like, hold on, you wrote code, you're in trouble, which is ironic because we literally have people who write code to break privacy, to go against who we consider our op as a government, right? Like, these people are writing code with the intention to do harm, but they don't get in trouble. Why? Because they're playing for the government. I mean, like, this is the system that we live in. Like, this is the reality of how there is this double standard on. But again, I think in this particular thing, it's either, like I said, the administration's stance changed on the crypto thing, so that might be part of it, or they realize if they would have went forward, then they would have set the precedent to show that OFAC and the Treasury were in the wrong, and like, you don't want that official precedent on the books. Or they step back because they realize there's something else that they can get out of it, but they just have to reposition. That is the system we live in, right? Hopefully this stuff works out. But I would also note for just in general of for the like the way things are going, governments aren't going to be happy. Like, because, well, we already see that the general public is not happy, right? So, like, case in point, there was a story that I had posted. Dude broke into, he hacked into the who did oh god he hacked into one of the federal like social program systems and basically like gave everyone like $2,000 for groceries and like cleared or approved like a bunch of people's applications. You know your man is facing straight federal charges on some, oh, you want to be a Robin Hood? We got you. You're going to jail, sir. Well, it's gonna be federal charges if you add up all of the money plus its government systems that he exploited. Like, yeah, that somebody's gonna hit him. Like they're gonna throw the book at your boy as and then he was trying to help the regular Joe. Like, oh, they're throwing a book at that guy. And I had posted it earlier as like a, might be just me, my 2 cents, but like this is one of those other indicators of we're going to see individuals do more things to quote counter the system in favor of the average Joe. That's my take on that, right? Um and then we'll see other things where people will start taking various measures to counter the system in favor of the average Joe. And when I say various, I mean it will be a spectrum of minimal like bullshit, like, oh, I sent the tweet, like I posted blah blah blah, my support to blah blah blah, or like, you know what, I'm jumping on a plane and I'm going to this place to go actually look and see with my own eyes how the people in Gaza are being treated. I don't know if you'll actually make it in country, considering, I think they only got like one airport or two airports in Israel, and from what I heard, they're not looking too good. Plus, they're not letting people in or out, whether you dual citizen or not. Or you want to like, I'm gonna do things like do a food bank, or I'm gonna, organize more protest, or I'm gonna show up in senators' homes and start asking questions. Like, I think going through in this administration and carrying into the next, we will see that wide spectrum of people doing things because they will be fed up with how arguably the government is not holding up its side of the social contract. That's just my thought. Man, random. I know. But yeah, on to this next thing. Was also looking at this here with the UAE's golden visa program through crypto staking. So Ton, the open network, I don't know if this was them trying to do a side scheme to get the numbers to increase the way they needed it to. This might have been a marketing numbers game play, but the UAE was not having it. And it was like, oh, no, 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 no. We are not going to be out here giving out golden visas to you random crypto folks just because you hold X amount of ton. Not happening. So, like, I don't know how they're set up out there. Um, I don't even pay attention a ton. I'll be honest with y'all. It just caught my attention that like they tried to make this play because initially I saw this post first, and then I was like, wait, what is this about? And then I was scrolling around, and then I saw this one. So like, yeah, I imagine, again, we see in the global context, various jurisdictions slash countries are doing things to encourage the movement of crypto people within their borders, while others are doing things to clamp down slash restrict. We see it at provinces, we see it in counties, we see it in states, we see it in nations, right? And so this is one of those examples. Like everyone, well, not everyone. If understand the whole thing about passports and making international moves, like UAE, their passport is in like the visa, sorry. That joint is in the top 10, right? And then you also know that America is losing position. We not in the top 3 no more. Things are happening, y'all. Things are happening, right? But like that was a bold freaking move, like dead ass. That was a very bold move to do that. Um, that was wild. That was a real bold move. I'll be surprised if somebody don't get a visit from the local authorities. Like, yo, what craziness are y'all trying to do? Like, we only like letting but X amount of y'all in here at a time. Like, cut it out. This joint also caught my attention, which I wonder. So Russia has launched a national registry for crypto mining equipment to better identify and regulate electricity use by miners. The system, developed by the Emergency Energy Ministry, Tax Service, and Digital Development Ministry, has been sent to regions with high mining activity. Registered miners must report earnings, and legal entities must be officially listed to operate legally. All right, so the takeaway on this is mining, as far as crypto is concerned, because I've been saying this for more than 3 years at this point. Russia has always been doing the pro crypto thing, but they wanted to do it in their own way. Like, so they've been incrementally moving through, building up on the the regulatory part of the space. And so slowly but surely they had to start figuring out, well, what part of this crypto thing is not, let's say, beneficial, or like where do we need to throttle. And arguably the mining part of the crypto world is the part that they saw, hey, we need to throttle it. Two things. One, as every government is, y'all gonna be making money, you're gonna pay us some of that in taxes or some kind of like fee thing, right? Two, if we let y'all just do rampant, oh, I'm getting energy. Granted, energy I think is relatively cheap in Russia and compared to other places within the region. But I also think like it's a jump ahead move for them to be like, all right, well, we don't want to have the rampant stuff that we saw happening in China, or the stuff that we saw happening in other Southeast Asian countries, or even out in the Middle East, right? Because energy wise, they're going to need the energy for other things. And if you let the folks kind of run rampant with doing that, it's not going to be the most strategic thing internally to them. Internally. Arguably too, it's them also trying to see what's going on in the space. Much more stuff. Yeah, not granted smuggling happens everywhere. Yep, very true. But like, yeah, I get why the energy department ministry is in it. I get why the tax service is in it. The digital development. And that's the other part. Like, think about that. If you just let it like free reign, what it would be, it over time, you would see how the miners would do their own development thing, right? They would do their own augmentations that might throttle how, or overclock, right? How it runs, which depending on where they are, it might not be a good thing to have like, let's say, a house full of not S9s, but like the new joints, and because of how the energy stuff is set up out there. It could be a number of different reasons why you argue, but also just to see how the innovation comes in. That's what I was trying to go at. Sorry. The innovation within the mining. Like the other day, what was I watching? I was watching some video clip or a little short thing about Vietnam and how um what is it? The Lakota, the not the Chinooks. Damn, I cannot remember the name of the helicopters, but like the pilots and the mechanics were literally figuring out while going through the missions, hey, we need to do these adjustments, like having the 50 cals and like stuff on the side or by the door, like that's not the original design. But as they were going through the process of dealing with that event, they were improving, augmenting what the folks back home were coming up with as like, oh, here's a standard military chopper. And I cannot remember the particular plane that I'm thinking about right now, but like Lakotas, for example, had a high destruction rate because they were designed to be fast and like agile, but they were designed with the intention of you use them to draw out the enemy fire, and then behind them comes I forgot the other helicopter, and that had the heavy weapon systems on it that was meant to rain down fire, right? But nonetheless, the point being is like, if you just let it run free in terms of this digital development, you won't see what these DIY folks are doing, and you won't see what what, like, let's say like the mom and pop folks are doing, because obviously they're going to look to try to find ways to be more efficient with the technology as far as the power consumption, as well as the noise level, as well as just the footprint for how big a device is, right? Like, at least that's my thought process on it. And from what I understand, like within, you know, the Russian society, there are some very logical thinkers and engineers. So imagine if you just kind of let that run free for maybe 5-10 years and see how they would work out trying to be competitive in their own way to the other folks globally. I don't know. Just my thought process on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that one. Shout out to my god 3D, man. Flipper Zero. Oh, so this is another thing too. For folks who know about the Flipper Zero, and there's other devices like the Flipper Zero, I have to come back to this video on my own time and figure out what he's doing with Flipper Zeros and Grok. I'm very curious. Like I said, 3D is one of the most techiest dudes that I know in this space. But to the thing that the bit chat, when I saw that, I instantly thought of Flipper Zero, because I have some ideas about Flipper Zero in regards to scanning and using as like spectrum based, let's say, force fields. And no one, at least for the folks that, you know, I talk to or am around right now, like no one pays attention to stuff like this. Like, this is the techie stuff that be having me like, oh shit, like you could do that with it, or like, why isn't anyone doing this? Flipper Zeros, and being able to use them to turn off TVs in, like, you know, electronic stores or like at a Target, like that's small fry stuff. Like, but like being able to walk around and have it where it generates like a signal field around you, that's me going like, huh, that sounds interesting. But in terms of this chat thing, the bit chat thing, like that's what I'm talking about, like man in the middle stuff. Like you can use Flipper Zeros as man in the middles on NFC based technology. You can use it on Wi-Fi stuff too. So like, yeah, I got to reach out to 3D about this one. because I got questions. But anywho, that's all I got. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to get done with this so I can get some of this damn schoolwork done. I was trying to be on earlier, but life be life in. Anywho, was there anything else that I was thinking of bringing up? No, that's all I got. So, like I said, it's a Monday. We are wrapping up on the 4th of July here statewide. Hopefully everyone, or hopefully at least most of you, because I'm being realistic, we're in a safe space, in a safe place, and we're good company. I myself was just in the house chilling, literally just chilled the whole day in the house. And I'm okay with that nowadays. I am so okay with that nowadays. But yeah, like there's a lot that happened over the last like 72, 48 hours and stuff. Literally was on a bus this morning at 1 something in the morning coming back to Maryland. Broke down, didn't make it home until like 8 something. So yeah, I'm tired and I still got to do stuff. But anywho, heaven knows what will happen between now and next Monday, and what will scratch my brain by the time I see Twitter again. And yeah, it might be something techie, it might be something crypto-y, it might not be. But you know me and my rambles, they be what they be. What else I got for you? Jump out girls. Shout outs to y'all, content cousins. Which side did you do the UAE comment on? Because I don't see it on YouTube, but I see it in the restream. It is also interesting to try to understand how this view count works. Hey, restream, like y'all took away that ability to have the mic turn on without having the camera on. Can y'all like bring that option back? But anywho, like I said, y'all, it is. Wait, can I do? What does that do? Ah, I'll know that for next time. I'm gonna do that next time. But anywho, that's all I got. I'm rambling. I know I'm tired. That's how I know. And hopefully I'll catch y'all on next Monday, whether it be on Twitch, on Twitter. What's the other one? Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and X. Oh, also, um, I need to throw this out here too. I do try to make it back and look through the comments when I can. But just know, if anybody's talking about, hey, something with a wallet, something with this coin, that coin, whatever token thing, if I ain't actually directly talked to you about something crypto related that I have actually messed with, it's not me endorsing Jack. Like, I'm not endorsing Jack in the comments unless I have actually directly talked to you. And even then, I'm gonna tell you, do your own due diligence, because I don't know what your wallet situation is like. I know what mine's is like, and hence why I'm on pause on everything across the board until the IRS actually says something in full, complete. Here's the actual policy paperwork. This is going to be it going forward. Because heaven knows how this first year of the administration is going to work compared to the second and third year of the administration. You know? But yeah, watch out for these folks, man. They out here, and the comments is definitely ripen with it. Oh, call to action. The actual YouTube channel is Trek with 2Ks. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a share. We'd greatly appreciate. And so yeah, that's the closeout, folks. That is the closeout. No, that's not what I wanted. That's what I got. That is what I got. I'm Trek with 2Ks.